Today, we're going deep into the world of wet gas pipelines.
Okay.
Now, keeping them flowing smoothly is a delicate dance of chemistry and mechanics, especially when it comes to those icy troublemakers, hydrates.
That's right. Hydrates are like the unwanted guests at a pipeline party, showing up uninvited and clogging things up.
Okay, so these hydrates, I get they form when things get cold and under pressure.
Yeah.
Sounds like there's more to it than just those conditions, right?
Yeah.
What's the full story?
Exactly. It's not just about having the right ingredients.
Yeah,
It's also about how quickly they combine. Think of it like baking a cake. You can have all the ingredients laid out, but it's the mixing, the process itself, that determines how quickly that cake comes together.
What influences that speed?
Well, several factors play a role. How much water is hanging out in the pipeline.
Okay.
Any sudden pressure drops. Even the size of those tiny water droplets floating around, they all influence how quickly hydrates can nucleate and grow.
So we need to disrupt that process.
Yes.
Break up the party before it gets out of control.
Yeah.
What's our first line of defense?
One common approach is methanol injection.
Okay.
It acts like antifreeze in your car.
Right.
Shifting the temperature at which hydrates would form, making them less likely to show up in the first place.
So methanol is our chemical warrior, holding those icy invaders at bay.
Yeah.
But I've heard whispers that methanol has a bit of a dark side.
Oh, yeah.
What's the catch?
Well, like any powerful tool,
Sure.
methanol needs to be used carefully. Overdoing it can lead to a whole new set of problems,
Okay.
specifically corrosion.
Corrosion. But isn't that what we're trying to avoid in the first place?
That's the tricky part. Methanol itself isn't the sole culprit.
Okay.
It's when it mixes with certain contaminants, often organic acids found in trace amounts in the methanol itself, that things get nasty. These little droplets become like tiny acid bombs.
Oh, wow.
Concentrating at the top of the pipeline where it's cooler.
Okay.
And eating away at the metal.
So we're using a chemical to prevent a problem, but too much of it can actually create another one. It's like a delicate balancing act. What's the alternative?
That's where pigging comes in. Think of it as a Roomba for your pipeline.
Okay.
But instead of just picking up dust bunnies, it's removing accumulated water, clearing any blockages, and smoothing out those pesky pressure drops that can accelerate hydrate formation.
So pigging tackles those speed factors head on, disrupting the process before it even gets going. How effective is it at actually removing that water, the key ingredient in those icy cocktails?
Very effective. Pigging is a powerful tool.
Okay.
By removing that accumulated water, we're essentially taking away one side of that hydrate formation triangle. No water, no party.
I like the sound of that. So it's not just about cleaning up existing hydrates.
Right.
It's about preventing them from forming in the first place. I'm starting to see how pigging could be a real game changer in those hydrate battles.
And there's more. Pigging also disrupts those free water microdroplets. Those tiny troublemakers, just waiting for the right conditions to turn into hydrates. Think of it like breaking up a fog bank before it can condense into rain.
Okay, so pigging is like a multi-pronged attack.
Yeah.
Targeting those key factors that speed up hydrate formation. It removes the water.
Yeah.
Smooths out pressure drops. And even disposes those microdroplets. That's impressive, but it's not always smooth sailing in a pipeline, right? What about those tricky spots?
Yeah.
Those areas where things tend to get backed up?
We're talking about low flow zones. Those areas where water tends to accumulate and stagnate. They're like the perfect breeding ground for hydrates.
Right, those low flow zones. Even with methanol in the mix, it seems like those areas could still be vulnerable. How do we ensure those spots don't become hydrate hotspots?
That's another area where pigging shines. It can target those specific zones, removing that stagnant water and disrupting those prime hydrate-forming conditions. It's like sending in a specialized cleaning crew to tackle the toughest spots.
So pigging can be both a preventative measure and a targeted solution, depending on the needs of the pipeline.
Absolutely.
It's starting to feel like a superhero in this hydrate saga.
And remember, it's not just about reacting to existing problems.
Right.
We can use pigging proactively, especially in those vulnerable low-flow zones, to keep things running smoothly and prevent hydrates from ever becoming an issue. It's about maintaining a healthy pipeline environment, so to speak.
Okay, I'm getting the picture. We've got our chemical warrior, methanol.
Right.
But we need to use it judiciously, avoiding those corrosive side effects. And then we've got our mechanical muscle. Those speed up factors and tackling those hydrate hotspots head on. It sounds like a powerful combination.
It is.
But how do we know when to deploy these tools? Is it just a guessing game?
Not at all. This is where data steps into the spotlight.
Ah, data, our trusty guide in this complex world.
Exactly. By continuously monitoring the pipeline,
Okay.
we gain valuable insights into what's happening inside. Pressure, temperature, fluid composition. It's like having a doctor checking your vital signs,
Right.
giving us the information we need to make informed decisions about treatment.
So no more flying blind data helps us fine-tune both our methanol injection and pigging schedules,
Exactly.
ensuring we're using the right tools at the right time.
Precisely. And when it comes to methanol, there's another layer of data-driven decision-making. Remember those pesky organic acid contaminants?
Yeah.
Well, using high-purity methanol with minimal contaminants can significantly reduce that corrosion risk.
So it's like choosing the healthiest ingredients for our recipe,
Exactly.
ensuring we're minimizing those unwanted side effects.
Exactly. It's all about making smart choices, guided by data,
Okay.
to ensure the long-term health and safety of these vital pipelines.
This is all fascinating stuff.
It is.
But I have a feeling there's even more to this story, right?
You're absolutely right. The field of hydrate management is constantly evolving.
Oh, cool.
Researchers are exploring new technologies and approaches all the time.
Yeah.
And that's where things get really exciting.
Ooh, like what? Give us a glimpse into the future of hydrate-free pipelines.
Well, one promising area is the development of new, more environmentally friendly hydrate inhibitors.
Huh?
These alternatives aim to provide the same level of protection as methanol,
Right.
without the associated risks of corrosion
Goals.
or the environmental impact.
So a win-win for the pipeline and the planet. What else is on the horizon?
Another exciting area is predictive modeling using artificial intelligence and machine learning. Imagine being able to anticipate hydrate formation with incredible accuracy.
Wow.
That's what these advancements are aiming for. This could allow operators to fine-tune their mitigation strategies even further,
Okay.
potentially reducing the need for both methanol and pigging in some cases.
Wow. It sounds like the future of hydrate management is all about precision,
Yes.
efficiency, and minimizing our environmental footprint. But for now, it seems like the key takeaway is that hydrate management requires a holistic approach, right?
Absolutely. We need to consider both those conditions that make hydrates want to form,
Right.
and those factors that speed up the process. It's about balancing the use of methanol with regular pigging.
Okay. But beyond the immediate response, it sounds like hydrate management is really about cultivating a long-term mindset, right?
Absolutely. It's about thinking ahead,
Okay.
anticipating potential problems,
Right.
and developing strategies to mitigate those risks before they even arise.
It's about being proactive rather than reactive.
Yes.
Constantly learning and adapting to ensure the long-term health and safety of those vital pipelines.
Well said. And with that, I think we've covered the essential elements of hydrate management in wet gas pipelines.
Even with the best planning and precautions, sometimes those icy invaders manage to sneak in. So what happens when a pipeline does become blocked by hydrates? What's the plan of attack?
Well, there are several options.
Okay.
And the best approach often depends on the specific circumstances. One method is to try and carefully increase the temperature of the affected section, essentially melting those hydrates back into liquid water. However, this needs to be done very carefully and gradually to avoid creating sudden pressure changes that could damage the pipeline.
Right.
Another approach is to use depressurization techniques, carefully lowering the pressure in the affected area to shift those conditions outside of the hydrate formation zone.
So it's like releasing some of the pressure in a pressure cooker.
Right.
But again, doing it in a controlled and safe manner.
Exactly. And in some cases, specialized chemicals can be used to dissolve the hydrates,
Okay.
essentially breaking them apart at a molecular level. Regardless of the method used,
Right.
responding to a hydrate blockage requires careful planning, specialized equipment.
This has been a truly fascinating exploration of the world of hydrate management and wet gas pipelines. We've covered everything from the basic science of hydrate formation to the latest technological advancements, and even glimpsed into the future of this critical field.
It is a fascinating field.
But as we wrap up this deep dive,
Right.
I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay.
We've talked about the importance of proactive measures, data-driven decision-making, and continuous improvement. But ultimately, the most important factor in any hydrate management program is the people involved.
Couldn't agree more. It's the engineers,
Right.
technicians, operators, and researchers who are on the front lines of this challenge.
Yeah.
Their knowledge, skill, and dedication are what keep those pipelines flowing smoothly and safely. And to our listeners, we encourage you to continue exploring this fascinating topic.
Right.
Hydrate management is a complex and ever-changing field.
It is.
But with continued research, collaboration, and a commitment to excellence, we can ensure that these vital energy arteries continue to flow smoothly for generations to come.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of hydrate management.
It was my pleasure.
We hope you found it informative, engaging,
Yes.
and maybe even a little bit inspiring. Until next time, keep those pipelines flowing and stay curious.